The Roman sewer system was more advanced than you think. Deep beneath the cobblestones of ancient Rome, a hidden marvel flowed in darkness, one that would make modern engineers weep with envy. Picture this. It's 33 CE, and Marcus Agrippa descends into the bowels of Rome carrying a torch, his sandals echoing against stone walls that tower 3 stories high. He's not exploring some forgotten catacomb or secret tunnel. He's conducting the world's first recorded sewer inspection, navigating a subterranean city more sophisticated than anything humanity would build again for the next 1,500 years. Most people think they know about Roman engineering. They've heard of the Colosseum, marveled at the aqueducts, maybe even learned about Roman roads. But lurking beneath Rome's greatest achievements was an invisible infrastructure so revolutionary that it quietly became the foundation of civilization itself. The Cloaca Maxima and Rome's sewer network weren't just drains, they were the circulatory system of an empire. Rome's sewer story begins not with grand imperial ambition, but with a swamp. The area that would become the Roman Forum was originally marshland, prone to flooding and disease. Around 600 BCE, the early Romans faced a choice: abandon their growing settlement or engineer their way out of a literal mess. Enter the Cloaca Maxima, the greatest sewer. Initially built by the Etruscan kings as an open drainage canal, this ancient predecessor to modern storm drains was already an engineering marvel. But here's where the story takes its first surprising turn. The Romans didn't just build a functional sewer system. They built one that would define urban planning for millennia. The Cloaca Maxima wasn't merely about waste removal. It was Rome's first step toward understanding something that wouldn't be formally recognized until the 19th century: the direct connection between sanitation and public health. While the rest of the ancient world was content to let human waste pile up in streets or get tossed from windows, Rome was quietly revolutionizing urban life by making waste disappear. By the height of the Roman Empire, the sewer system had evolved into something that would make a modern civil engineer's jaw drop. The network stretched over 1,000 kilometers beneath the city, roughly the distance from Rome to Berlin. But it wasn't just the scale that was impressive, it was the sophistication. The Romans understood gradient flow with mathematical precision. Their sewers maintained a consistent slope of just 0.5 to 2%, steep enough to keep waste moving, shallow enough to prevent erosion. Too steep, and the rushing water would destroy the infrastructure. Too shallow, and waste would accumulate and create blockages. The Romans hit the sweet spot through pure empirical engineering, centuries before fluid dynamics became a formal science. The construction itself defied conventional wisdom about ancient building techniques. These weren't crude stone channels carved into the earth. The major sewers were built using sophisticated arch construction, with some tunnels reaching heights of 4.5 meters, tall enough for a grown man to walk through comfortably. The walls were lined with a concrete so durable that much of it remains intact today, 2,000 years later. But here's what will truly astonish you. The Roman sewers included sophisticated ventilation systems. They understood that trapped gases could be dangerous and that proper airflow was essential for maintenance. Manholes weren't just access points. They were strategically placed to create air circulation throughout the entire network. Now, here's where our story takes a turn that might make you question everything you thought you knew about ancient Roman society. The sewer system didn't just manage waste. It transformed Roman social structure in ways that reverberated through history. For the first time in human civilization, sanitation became democratized. Rich and poor alike could access public latrines connected to the sewer network. While the wealthy had private facilities in their homes, the extensive public toilet system meant that even Rome's poorest citizens had access to sanitation that exceeded what was available to European royalty 1,000 years later. The Romans turned going to the bathroom into a social experience. Public latrines weren't private stalls but communal spaces where Romans would sit side by side, conducting business both bodily and commercial. These weren't places of shame but centers of social interaction. Graffiti found in Pompeii's public toilets reveals conversations about politics, love affairs, and daily gossip, the ancient equivalent of social media, if you will. But the real revolution was medical. While Romans didn't understand germ theory, they empirically discovered that cities with better sewers had fewer diseases. The correlation between sanitation and health became so clear that Roman physicians began recommending certain neighborhoods based on their proximity to sewer access. They were practicing preventive medicine through urban planning, centuries before anyone understood why it worked. Here's perhaps the most mind-bending aspect of Rome's sewer system. When the Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 CE, this technology essentially vanished from Europe. It's not that the knowledge was lost, the sewers themselves remained, and some continued functioning. It's that the political and economic systems needed to maintain such infrastructure disappeared. Medieval European cities regressed to throwing waste into streets and rivers. London didn't have a comprehensive sewer system until the 1860s, 1,400 years after Rome had perfected the technology. Paris's modern sewers weren't completed until the late 19th century. For over a millennium, European cities were less sanitary than ancient Rome. This wasn't just about engineering knowledge. Rome's sewer system required something that medieval Europe couldn't sustain: massive public investment in invisible infrastructure. The Romans understood that the most important civic improvements were often the ones citizens never saw. They invested enormous resources in underground construction that provided no visual glory but delivered enormous public benefit. Modern archaeological investigations of Rome's sewer system continue to reveal surprises. In 2014, researchers discovered that the Romans had developed an early form of water treatment. Certain sections of the sewer network included settling pools where solid waste would separate from liquid, allowing cleaner water to flow into the Tiber River. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed that the known sewer network represents only a fraction of Rome's underground infrastructure. Archaeologists estimate that hundreds of kilometers of Roman sewers remain undiscovered, sealed beneath modern Rome's foundations. Each excavation reveals new innovations: automatic flushing systems powered by rainwater, sophisticated junction designs that prevented backflow, and maintenance chambers stocked with replacement materials. Perhaps most remarkably, some Roman sewers are still in use today. The Cloaca Maxima continues to drain parts of modern Rome, making it arguably the oldest continuously operating infrastructure in the world. When Rome's current sewer system needs repairs, engineers often discover that Roman-era sections are in better condition than 20th century additions. And here's the final twist that will change how you think about historical progress forever. Rome's sewer system reveals a profound truth about civilization that we've largely forgotten. The most transformative technologies are often the most invisible ones. While we celebrate Rome's visible monuments, the Colosseum, the Pantheon, the aqueducts, it was the hidden infrastructure that actually enabled Roman civilization to flourish. Cities with populations exceeding 1 million were impossible without sophisticated waste management. Rome's sewers didn't just remove waste, they made urban density possible. They enabled the concentration of human activity that drove innovation, trade, and cultural development. In a very real sense, Rome's intellectual and cultural achievements were built on a foundation of flowing sewage. The Romans understood something that took modern civilization centuries to relearn: public health is public wealth. Every denarius invested in sewer infrastructure returned multiplied value through reduced disease, increased productivity, and enhanced quality of life. They practiced evidence-based governance, making massive public investments in unglamorous but crucial infrastructure. Today, as cities worldwide grapple with aging sewer systems and growing populations, Roman engineering offers both inspiration and humbling perspective. These ancient engineers, working without computers, power tools, or modern materials, created infrastructure that outlasted empires and continues functioning after 2 millennia. The next time you flush a toilet or walk over a storm drain, remember, You're participating in a technology perfected by toga-wearing engineers who understood that civilization's greatest achievements often flow unseen beneath our feet. Rome's true legacy isn't what they built for glory. It's what they built for survival, and in doing so, created the invisible foundation upon which all modern cities stand. The Romans didn't just conquer the world above ground. They conquered the world below it too, and in many ways, they never left.